Bonjour à tous. Welcome to Learn to French. Je suis très contente de vous avoir avec moi aujourd'hui pour mon premier podcast. So today we are going to talk about the 10 reasons to learn French and how to find some extra motivation. I understand that if you're learning French for work or for school, it might be a little hard for you to find this motivation and the good reasons to learn French because you only have to learn French, right? But if you stay with me a little bit here, we're going to cover this topic and try to talk about what those reasons are. So let's not wait any longer and let's skip right away to the first reason, which is French is all around the world. We have about 300 million French speakers globally. French is the only language, aside from English, that is spoken all around the 5 continents. It is now positioned as the world's 5th language and the world's 2nd most learned language. La francophonie, French-speaking communities, covers, as of now, 88 states and governments, and they actively contribute to the teaching of French. So for you, it can be quite easy to find a place where you can learn French, since France has the largest language learning network all around the world, with institutions such as l'Alliance Française, l'Institut Français, and French schools. It's going to be easier for you to learn French in a school. The second reason for learning French is that you get a ticket for studying in France. Some French schools and universities have an excellent reputation abroad. You have La Sorbonne, EM Lyon, École Normale Supérieure, and probably other maybe literature schools or business schools. Most of the time, they have great financial conditions. Education in France is not that expensive compared to other countries. Having a degree from those establishments might be an excellent asset to boost your future career. In order to enter such schools and perhaps get some government help to achieve an internationally approved degree, it is necessary for you to master French. And let's face it, if you want to study in France, then you're going to need to speak French. The next reason is that you have a very good professional asset. Speaking English and French is a substantial asset in the labor market. It can help you find work in French multinational companies in different sectors, in different industries. France attracts many entrepreneurs, employers, researchers, and students from all around the world. But also, if you happen to work in Asia for a French company, then it might be a good thing for you to speak French. It's just a little extra. Okay, so the next reason is that you get to travel in French-speaking countries, aside from France, of course. In order to travel and visit France or any other French-speaking countries, learning French will actually help you enjoy your journey to the fullest. For instance, if you would like to order in a restaurant or buy train tickets, or simply if you want to ask for directions to someone in the street, it's much better to master French. Keep in mind that maybe depending on where you're going in France, but not everybody speaks English in France. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and French people will be very happy to see your efforts of speaking French. So that's a very good reason to learn French. So if you like to travel and want to explore different countries, French-speaking countries, then learning French can be a very good idea for you. And the next reason to learn French is understanding French culture. Learning a language is not only about the language in itself. It's not just about the grammar, the conjugation, and speaking the language. To each country, their own codes, morals, and rules. Learning French will definitely help you learn more about France and discover French culture and its people and its history. So set your cliches about France aside and try to get to know more about the real French culture. The next reason for learning French is accessibility to other media sources. Now, what does this mean? Isn't it nice to watch and appreciate a film in its original version? Having most of the media accessible to you is one of the best reasons to learn French. In addition, you will also be able to read, watch, or listen to different news sources and look at the information through another lens. How interesting does that sound to you? Would you like to know more about different media, how maybe French-speaking countries see the world? That's actually a very good reason. And next one is highly present in international affairs. French is highly present in international affairs. We are all aware that English is the first language of international affairs, but French is actually the original language of diplomacy. It is one of the 2 official languages of the UN, UNESCO, and NATO, and of course the European Union. So mastering French is required for those who wish to pursue a career in international affairs, international relations, which makes it another great reason for you to learn French. One other good reason is easily learn other languages. Now, I think that you probably have heard of sister languages and cousin languages. Learning French helps you learn other sister and cousin languages easily. As a matter of fact, it is part of the large family of Latin languages. What are French's cousin languages? So, they're actually most Latin languages such as Spanish, Italian, or Portuguese. So learning French gives you a head start and will help you master very similar grammar points and vocabulary lists much faster. How good does that sound? And another reason is that it promotes linguistic diversity. In this globalized society, learning and speaking French largely contributes towards protecting linguistic diversity and therefore avoiding the exclusive generalization of a single language all around the world. So let's promote linguistic diversity together, guys. Another reason, French is the language of love, creativity, and philosophy. It is well known that French is a very romantic and melodious language, right? Doesn't it sound like a bit like music? Just take a look at the long list of French singers such as Edith Piaf, La Vie en Rose, right? Does that sound familiar to you? Nino Ferrer or Joe Dassin. Shall I mention literature authors such as Émile Zola, Guy de Maupassant, Victor Hugo? Les Misérables probably rings a bell to you, right? Victor Hugo actually wrote Les Misérables. And most of all, Molière. We refer to the English language as the language of Shakespeare. In French, French is la langue de Molière, or the language of Molière. Moreover, it is the language of the Lumière. lumière means light in English, the Lumière century. During that century, philosophers actually had different thoughts, as we have Descartes, Sartre, Rousseau, and they actually helped radiating the ideas of human rights, les droits de l'homme. So learning French is a very good thing if you're probably learning literature or philosophy. It's a good thing. Trust me. Then learning French is also learning how to structure your thinking and all about developing your critical mind. There are things that we cannot express in other languages like English, but we might have a better way to express them in French. Of course, there are different tenses, but not just that. We have expressions, and the way that we formulate sentences can mean a completely different thing. So learning French and perhaps maybe advanced French can help you do that. I also have a little bonus here for you guys. For me, the best reason to learn French is that French is not a difficult language to learn. It does require a lot of dedication and practice at the beginning, but it also happens to be quite easy to be able to communicate with simple dialogues after a few lessons. So that's it, guys. We are going to wrap up this first podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that it was all in English, but I wanted to start off easily for you and maybe find some extra motivation with this podcast today. Thank you very much for staying until the end. And if you liked this podcast or this theme, feel free to share your comments and let me know. Actually, I will be talking to you quite soon. Et je vous souhaite une bonne journée and see you next time for the next episode. Merci beaucoup.